Well, hey, everybody, safety first. That's what we're talking about. It's one of those days. And you know what? We've got a guest, David Tillman, the Senior VP of Safety and so many other things at Knight Swift. Anyhow, you know what? We're going to be right back. Check it out.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
Is it weird that I still like that ad from Greg? I don't know. Get connected with the ES Advantage today. I don't know why I like that guy's voice, but I do. I can't help it. It's a weird thing. I know. You know what? Put Jeff up here because, yeah. And then we're going to do real things because we're going to be real people. We're going to adult today. I'm not sure how to deal with it. And neither does our guest because he can't even picture me adulting. Huh, Jeff?
That is correct, Charlie.
I'm just saying, look, people are like, bro, you can do it. No, I can't.
Yes, Charlie. Yes.
Oh, stop it, Ed. So, real quick, Jim was first. Craig was second. Michael Fowler was third. You know what? Don't have time for this. This man is busy. He's got things to do. I need to be an adult. Watch. I even got things to put up. Bam. Bam. Here he is. The man, Mr. Tillman, Mr. David Tillman. He is the Knight Swift Senior VP of Safety and Driver Development and probably 92 other things.
Hey, good to see you guys. You too,
How
Jeff.
you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
How, Jeff, does he sound like he's in a tin can to you? Sorry.
No, he sounds like he's in an underwater tunnel.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
You're still wrong, Charlie.
Whatever. Look, don't yell at me. You need to stop. You know what? We'll get through it, man. People, turn up your people, turn up your speakers, and I'll speak softer.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
That is fantastic.
I switched my speaker. So
here, let me put this over here so you don't have a logo on your forehead. Look, see, I can do things. I don't know how, but I do. It works out some days. Let me turn my banner off. Dude, seriously, Tillman, I appreciate you being here, man. It's been a while. And I'm going to dive right into this because I know we don't have time. So wait, I got to pull up my notes because I got notes. I wanted to talk about real quick. I want to dip into the quick safety stuff from the Swift side of things and that world, right? So we've had a lot of people talking about safer stats and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I haven't looked in the last couple of months. I should probably take a look, know what the hell I'm talking about because, why? Reasons. Yeah. So I'm looking at it, and I know you guys look at this stuff all the time, but I'm seeing 22,350 inspections on the Swift DOT number in the last 24 months. That's what it's showing as current as of 9/9. And I'm looking at as service violations on drivers, it's 1.3%. The industry average is 6.67 on
Wow.
vehicles. I know you're not happy with this number. The world is pretty happy. I'm not happy with it either. I'm with you, sir. But we're at 19.3%. The average industry average is 22.26. We're beating the industry, but I know that's not where you want to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, we want to be, 0% on there, right?
Right.
No out of service violations. That's where we sat. And, and hey, I'll say this. Thankfully, we've got a ton of drivers. We've got a lot of company drivers. We've got a tremendous amount of owner operators, and hey, the vast majority do a really, really good job there. I want to be clear about that. But yeah, I think there's opportunity there. When you're talking about, vehicle out of service violations, the most common ones are going to be tires and brakes.
Is that what it is?
That's it. And I mean, I would say tires even more so is where, I think we continue to have some opportunity to improve there. So, for everyone listening, it's what I know you two guys take a tremendous amount of pride in, but pre and post trip inspection and taking care of the equipment, and not just doing it once a day, but doing it when even if it's a quick one coming back out of a rest break or something. I'm not saying rush a pre-trip, but
right.
You know what I mean? You're doing a walk around, you're making sure these things are in order. You just dropped trailer one and you're picking up your second trailer for the day. You're doing a pre-trip on that trailer. You're inspecting things. All those, I don't even want to call them little things, but all those things that are part of the job, they're just so important. They're certainly important for the specific load you're on at that given time. But then to your point, Charlie, at a very macro level, when you're talking about all the vehicle maintenance violations over a period of 2 years, which is what CSA looks back at. Yeah, I mean, that all adds up tremendously.
Yeah. And look, so I tell people all the time, is one of the things that I say is like, look, hit a rest area, walk down one side of the truck, dump tires, check them out, get a good visual as you're walking by. It's not real hard. I check right now when I'm doing this target stuff. I'm like, oh, look at reefer temps. I'm looking at fuel level just for fun. I know it's good, but I'm going to look anyhow because who knows? Because so these target trailers have caps on both sides, and people like to take caps off the other side, so it all spills out. It's really fun. That's a great thing. Anyhow, luckily they got locking caps on the other side now, but that's cool. But and then when you on your way back, it's real simple. Walk down the other side. You've lost in no time.
No, and it's a great practice. I mean, I think that's exactly it. Things like that, again, on top of the pre and post.
Right. Yeah, definitely on top of.
But yeah, things like that, I think are just great habits. Save you a lot of hassle too. Vehicle maintenance are certainly one thing, and that'd be annoying to get that violation. But talk about breakdown. On road, you drive 5 miles on the road, and now you got a blown out tire or something like that. Nobody wants to be in that situation, right? So
yeah, that sucks a lot. Talk about just the bummer of all bummers is blown tire, and you're like, oh, here I am for the next 8 hours, and that's before DOT gets a hold of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know. God, so
it's no picnic, right? So
yeah, so
as the odd man out, I have a question.
Yes,
because as you know, David, I was contracted at Swift for 18 years.
Yep.
I've recently gone to seek. What I'm doing, just so you know, because it's important to me that people know that I didn't leave Swift on bad terms.
Oh yeah,
I went to.
I talked to Charlie.
I went to help a small fleet owner grow his fleet. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And what I'm interested in that time at Swift, I saw the good versus bad inspections go up and down and up and down. What have you guys done to improve those numbers? Is there something that you could point to where we did this thing and it really helped?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think it's no secret. If you look at Swift as a whole, we've got a healthy amount of owner operators. We've got a lot of company drivers. A lot of our company drivers do come up through, our CDL academies, and So I say that because I think training's a big part of it, Jeff. And, I just think operationally putting a lot more focus on it too. So not just saying, hey, driver, go figure this out, but investing the time in training and kind of creating that expectation within our fleet managers or terminal leaders, fleet leaders, driver leaders, that they need to be a part of that solution as well. And then of course the shops, right? I think when you look at equipment, the vehicle maintenance side of it and all that is super important. But I think there's also a level of pride that we certainly have and we want our drivers to have in terms of, hey, we do take care of our equipment. We've got good looking trucks and trailers going down the road. I mean, that matters, I think, to ourselves intrinsically, like that matters, but then to our customers and those we share the road with. So I think, to answer your question, though, it's not any one thing. It's just a lot of people, definitely including our drivers and our owners, being focused on it and making it happen. And again, Charlie, I think, hit on this too. But hey, we don't want any of the out of service violations, right? So it's good to be below the national average in these things. Make no mistake, but we don't want any of them, and we're going to work hard to continue to reduce those.
So what's your realistic goal, say next 12 months? Where is it that you want? I get we want to be zero, but from a working standpoint, I mean, like what kind of systems are you setting up to get to, say, this level, and we'll continue from there? I mean, is that something you can address? Or
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know if I'd put a certain number on it. Like you said, ultimately I'd like to get it to zero, but
right,
I think certainly have that delta between our performance and what the national average is to grow, right?
right,
So, and just continue to see that trend in the right direction. But like I think that in a nutshell would be the high level what I'd view as a win. It's tough. I think different states, there's obviously varying levels of enforcement state by state. And when you operate in certain states, we'll just call it what it is. California is a very high enforcement state. I think you see a lot of activity there. Utah would fit
right,
that mold. Georgia, I think are states with a lot of activity. And hey, we run a ton of miles in those respective states. We got
right.
a lot of trucks. And so, we look at those individual states, no doubt, but look, we do want a uniform expectation of, hey, if we get really good at, we do a good solid pre-trip every day. We do a good solid post-trip every day. And post-trip, hey, number one, we want all of our folks doing that, but I mean, that saves you a ton of hassle the next day. If you do a good
Right.
post, you find something, on road, whoever can come out and help get that fixed. But yeah, I mean, we want to continue to see that number go in the right direction, Charlie, and we just want to make sure we're having an impact on all of our drivers to drive that message home that, hey, this is important. You gotta prioritize these things if you're going to be successful and have a long career in this industry.
Right. And with all the brands that fall under the Knight Swift umbrella now, I'm sure your world has really expanded in multiple directions. And I know we're all under that umbrella, that family group. But each of those little companies have their own cultures. So, Jules is the VP of safety for Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And I really got to build a relationship with her. I've only talked to her like once ever, and it's my bad.
Yeah, she's great people. She's
hilarious on the videos.
You guys need to spend some time together for sure.
Well, I'm going to try and make that happen next week during DAW. So we're going to do that. But look, Swift's got 13,880 drivers power units in 13,500 drivers. Then you add in Knight and you add in Bar None and AAA Cooper and US Express. I mean, that number's got to be growing, and so I haven't looked at the other brands, right, their numbers, because I'm contracted to Swift. I look here, but
yeah,
where I'd like to go honestly is getting away from the specific brands here. Is because I know that you're tapped into the industry as a whole because of you have to be,
mm-hmm.
what kind of regulation changes do we have coming up that we really maybe shouldn't ignore? And how is the industry as a whole doing overall right now? And with the very same things, safety, compliance. I mean, logs are a thing. Oh my
Yeah.
God, is it a thing lately?
No, I think that's a great question. I mean, there's a lot, there's been a ton of proposals. There's been a lot of proposed rulemakings, as you guys probably have seen through FMCSA. At the same time, it's an election year, and a lot of things tend to stagnate and kind of see where things shake into place, and with change of
Right.
whether or not there's a change,
Yeah.
that could change the agenda of Department of Transportation and FMCSA. So, the probably the more hot button ones that have been out there have been around, the speed limiter proposal that came out a little while ago that punted to June of 2025, after about being punted twice before that, right?
Right.
So there's one like that. Now there's some hours of service proposed rulemakings out there that I don't think would dramatically change the hours of service regulations. It's more around, can motor carriers suggest edits on logs, which they can right now, but takes it a little bit further.
Right.
Some things like that. And I'll send you the link, Charlie. I don't want to do it justice. They punted it quite a way, so I haven't spent a ton of time
Right.
on
Right.
that particular one, because it's not anything that's going to happen in the next couple of months or anything
Right.
like that. I think you asked though how the industry as a whole. I think there's been a lot of studies out there that have suggested, especially coming out of COVID, like overall fatality rates are up on the road. Now that's not just with commercial motor vehicles. That's general, through the National Transportation Safety Board that publishes those numbers, and ATRI, which is basically the research arm of American Trucking Association, has put some data out like that too. So I think you look at stuff like that, and it just challenges you to, you want to be part of the solution, right? And I would hope individual drivers want to be part of the solution, motor carriers, and so much of that ties back though to already some of the things we're talking about, just the fundamentals of being a really professional driver, where you're approaching it the right way. And we talk a lot about, I know you've heard me say this, but when we're talking about driver development, for example, and some of the coaching, we talk a lot about managing speed, managing room, space around the vehicle, space around the truck, controlling distraction, controlling fatigue. I think most of the research that gets put out, attributes most preventable crashes to those, one of those four elements. And so we spend a lot of time on that with our folks, and we will definitely continue to do so. I think when you're talking about safety and performance in the industry, it's really there's never a time you get to stop and say, hey, we've done it, or it's just
we're there.
You're right. And hey, you guys both are the perfect examples that I've been driving a long time, churned out a ton of safe miles. So nobody really actually knows that. Certainly you guys know that even better than myself. But, you have to have a mentality that it's a never ending quest. It's not anything you're ever going to fully achieve. You're just not.
I think there's, in the people that I run into, and it's not just a Swift thing. It's a lot of places. Some places are much better than others. But I think we run into where, I mean, there's comments in the chat right now where, there's talking specifically Swift, they go and they pick up a trailer and it's junk. The tires are flat. It needs brakes, whatever, and now they're stuck there. Right. And I don't think that's a Swift specific thing, because I've seen junk trailers from every company at every customer I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know how to take that and get people. I mean, because it falls on us. It falls on all the companies as well, but it falls on us. We're the first lines there. We see that, and so many
Mhm.
guys are just well, much like the regulation stuff. Let's punt it down the road for the next guy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how to address that or how to make that better. I don't know if you've got any wonderful ideas. I mean, I just don't know, man.
Yeah, it's look, yeah, I mean, I've heard similar feedback, of course, right? There's no secret we got over 50,000 trailers at
Right,
Swift, at the enterprise, all the brands, we're talking 95,000 trailers. Now, look,
right,
we have been trying to sell, some of these older trailers. I think we've been pretty open about that, but there's not an overly robust demand for that right now.
right,
As you guys probably know, but I think though, to answer your question, Charlie, it's it's good. There's strengths and weaknesses of being a really large company, right? Some of
right.
them is, if you have the wrong mentality, and I don't think most of our folks do, but it can be easy to just say, someone else is going to figure that out and take care of that problem. But the reality is there's also strength in numbers, and if we get good about, you know, handling those when we do come up in those situations, and
Right,
hey, that's sending in the Mac 38. He's talking Swift specifically
right,
here.
right.
Um, I know that's not an industry macro. You
No, you're
can't send
good.
that.
You're good.
Um, but you know what I'm saying. I think if we do that, we really can make a pretty significant impact, and you are saving that hassle, that burden for the next driver or two drivers later that gets sent that. But look, it's an area that I think there's if folks could see how much effort is going on in the background to improve that and get it fixed, I think generally people would be really encouraged by it. But hey, I also get, you show up, you pick up a trailer and it hasn't had a federal inspection overdue, and two tires are completely flat. And it's 115 degrees outside, and it's frustrating, right? And
Right.
that's certainly not lost on myself, and I know our senior leadership here. So I say all that, not trying to be a smooth talker and whittle out
Right.
of it, but I promise you there is a ton of work going into making that part better for our drivers.
And again, I wasn't trying to pigeonhole you into something there. So,
No, yeah,
it's just, it comes up in the chat, and I don't want to ignore the chat. And so, guys, I'm not ignoring, I am reading stuff.
yeah,
But,
it's a fair question.
so driver fatigue is a huge thing out in the industry. We talk about all the time, what's the best way to try and manage your time, things like that, and actually get that adequate rest. There's so many branches you can go off of this thing, because layovers and detention and all this other stuff, and people are, how these people are handling it on their log. I know for us specific, I think we've been having quite a bit of problems lately with certifying logs.
Yeah, I mean,
That seems like a
certifying
silly thing to me.
certifying logs is, and it obviously became much more prevalent with the full ELD mandate.
Right.
Although even back, you guys would remember AOBRD still had to certify your logs.
Right.
It's just it wasn't a CSA violation the way it is now. But hey, regardless, like, yeah, you hit it on the head. The best practice I would say around certifying your logs is when you're done for the day, certify your logs. Just
Right.
look through. It's done. It's over. Because yeah, it is. Look, if you get a roadside and you haven't certified your logs, for prior days, you can get a violation for it. And hey, we were talking about vehicle maintenance earlier, but hours of service is its own CSA basic.
Right.
If everyone doesn't know what basic means, but it's its own CSA category, would probably be the easiest way to
Right.
explain that. Those add up, and the win-win for everyone. And again, the way CSA works is not at the Knight Swift enterprise. It's specific to the operating authority that you're working for. It does affect everybody. If we get those scores where we want them to be, it's a win for everyone. But it takes everybody, and so yeah, we're putting a lot of focus on certifying logs right now to that point, Charlie. And then you mentioned, fatigue in general, and hey, that's that is a very, you know, I want to say like it's segmented down to the specific driver. And
Right.
the one thing I would always say, and again, I'm going to go back to this because you guys have been driving in the industry and doing this forever. You have to own that as a professional driver. Now we're going to do things as the motor carrier to certainly support you, but overarching, it's hey, if you need to rest, you take as many rest breaks as you need. It's there's no you have to take a 30-minute every 8 hours, but
Right.
there's no limit to how many of those you can take. And look, I'm not saying most folks are going to go out there and take 15 rest periods a day,
Right.
but that's it. You have to manage that, and when you're fatigued and you're getting sleepy out there, yeah, you've got to make the decision to get off the road. I think it's or ill, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's and so there's just I hope all of our folks know you are always empowered to do that. And whether you're working for Swift or whether you're working for anybody in the industry,
Right.
you need to make sure you're empowered to do that, because there is nothing even remotely as important as you not getting hurt or hurting somebody else. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and I would say, folks, communication is key with that. Let the carrier know what's going on with you, because where you run into real problems between you and a carrier is when you don't tell them what's going on. You need to give them the opportunity to contact their customer and work something out.
Mhm.
It's when you don't say anything and you show up 4 hours late to a delivery, nobody said anything. That's when we have real problems.
that's a great point, Jeff. I appreciate you calling that out. Yeah, communication is super key. And hey, I'm confident if you were to call up your driver leader, fleet leader, and say, hey, I'm tired. I got to take 4 or 5 hours. You're not going to get pushback, right? It's that's front and center. You have to be good at communicating those things, and you've got to kind of you not kind of you have to prioritize that first.
So I'm going to take this back to Swift specific. Sorry for the folks that aren't Swift guys, just because of the comments that are popping up, and it's revolving around the Zonar, Dave. Just
Okay.
saying, I'm pre-warning you. Like Craig Hudson said, the Zonar still flawed. He had logs pop up from August this morning needing to be certified again, and then that takes it right into CW. His wife got hit for 6 days for not certifying, but the DOT officer saw that she had certified them on the log notes, but Zonar said that they weren't. So it's technology.
That second one is not an issue I've been familiar with, but I will say, Charlie, if you wouldn't mind sending in you have my email when we're done, and I can I'll take a look at that specific situation.
Cool.
But yeah, it's I think, look, we've talked on here, maybe not on here. Certainly you and I have talked about some challenges we've had with Zonar, where, that are more technological in nature. Our driver is certifying their logs like that, and something that comes up. But, we've talked on some other Swift lives, and I'm comfortable saying it here. We're looking at
Geotab. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, that's what I was going to say. We're looking at other ELD options, most specifically looking at Geotab. And, I think if you're not familiar with Geotab, it's an ELD provider. They've been in the telematics space for a really long time. And a lot of the larger fleets, utilize Geotab. And I think it does provide a good user experience. I think there's no substitute for logs where it's just going to manage your hours for you.
Right.
It doesn't work like that, but I think it makes it easier to do so and creates for a better user experience. And so, we're pretty excited about that. We've done a lot of integration work with it. In fact, if I'd have to double check if we have this pushed out to our owners yet, Charlie. I know you, I believe, have one, but I was going to say on Swift U, if you have company drivers listening, You can actually go check out that training already. It's on there. All you have to do is go, in Swift University and search Geotab.
Right.
But yeah, there's going to be, I'll put it this way, there's going to be a lot of information coming out on the portals.
Cool.
There's already been some, and again, I do think it's going to create a better user experience. I think it's got better integration with Point, which is the app.
Yeah.
And that I think is pretty nice. But also, Geotab is the largest provider in the space by
wow.
market share. So not just for us, but I think there's a reason for that. I think when it comes to ELDs, and especially if you've got some independent contractors and some others on there, there's some good stuff out there. Make no mistake. I know there's a lot of good ELDs out there, but I think one thing that generally people like about Geotab, and hey, this isn't just my feedback, this is feedback I've solicited from the outside too, is that, hey, it might not be the sleekest or the most cutting edge,
Right.
but it works. And I think that's ultimately what people want here is, hey, I just want this thing to work. I want it to, when I log something, I want that to be the case. And, so, and hey, just like any technology, I'll caution everybody, nothing works 100% of the time. Our smartphones don't work 100% of the time, and all these things do. But generally, I think we've had really good feedback about it, and so I'm excited about that. But yeah, hey, we're committed to making that a better experience, and I'd be, lying to you if I was on here saying Zonar was the best thing we ever did or anything like that. But it's not to say that hasn't had its challenges, but I think Geotab, we're going to see some good things. But okay, I see that note.
Yeah, Mattness and I got a message about getting Geotab. Was told only Phoenix can install it. He said, "Is it true that I would have to get to Phoenix to have it installed?"
I mean, no, we're not going to just be doing installs in just Phoenix. Now, I will say where that could have got misconstrued is in this earlier phase of putting units in, we have mostly done that in Phoenix. But certainly as we roll this out to more of the fleet, it's going to be at all of our terminals. It's not going to be, we're not going to try to get every truck into Phoenix.
Yeah, I think what he was actually saying is he was actually contacted about getting it put in his truck. He was one of those people that was pulled into that bubble of the rollout now. And they told him, yeah, you have to go to Phoenix to get it, I think is what the breakdown was on that.
Okay. Well, I can check. I've got his name, so I should be.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We like him.
Yeah, no. So I'll look into that too, or have someone on my team do that. But for the initial rollout, like the smaller group, that could be true because transparently, we've mostly been doing that specifically in Phoenix. But
I made a special trip just to get to Phoenix to get the damn thing, and I hated it for the first week.
Yeah. But hey, it's growing on you. And
it absolutely by far is way better. I've told people this. It's a little bit of a learning curve. It's different.
Yeah.
But when you start understanding it, it's great.
Yeah, and like I said, that'll be where the content comes in. And I mean, hey, we're gonna have a lot of folks, whether it's in the shop or operationally or on the safety support team, to be available to answer those questions. I certainly don't want someone getting one, not understanding at all how it works and risking going out and getting a violation or something like that. But, and with Driver Appreciation Week next week too, we'll have a lot of conversation around that too. I know I'm going to do a couple live streams out there too, and, catch on some of that. But yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that up, Charlie. It's something we're excited about. We've spent a lot of time, like I said, on the back end side, making sure the integrations are in order so that it is a good, clean experience for our folks when they get it installed.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly can't say enough good things about it. I mean, I've got my issue. My issue now is the physical equipment itself. You and I have talked about that. I don't like the dock. The dock is, I can't help it. It's junk right now the way that it works. But it holds the tablet. That's all I can ask for, really. I'd like it to charge it better so that everything worked a little better. But that we're working on that. I found my own little.
We are working on that too. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of efforts going into the telematics. I'll say that, from hardware and the software side of it.
Yeah, it's been working great. We got a lot of guys that have talking about you guys that are contractors, and you're saying things like, "Hey, get me out there. Look, you're contractors. Get with your planners, get with your people, and get them to get you out there." I'm telling you, look, it's a thing, and you'll like it. You're gonna hate it for the first week, probably. You're gonna be like, "Oh, why did Charlie tell me this?" And then you're gonna dig it once it starts making sense and working the way that it's supposed to work. It's fabulous. I'm telling you, I love it. It's way better than the Zonar. I promise you that.
No,
But
yeah, I think to that point too. And hey, if you have contractors at other terminals, which I'm sure you do, you got them all over the country. Like I said, we're getting closer to really expanding the rollout where we will be doing
Nice.
this at other terminals too. So.
Well, Jeff, you got anything else for Dave? I know Dave, you gotta bounce here pretty quick, and I'm already keeping you over your time. I apologize.
I know it's hard to
No,
believe that a half hour went by that fast, but I do have like 5 more minutes. I know I said 3:30, but that's
Right.
really give myself a 10-minute buffer.
Yeah, that was the main thing I wanted. Was because you are in charge of such a large carrier. That's what I want to know is what have you seen that has helped with this safety stuff in that large of a company, and how can we help people out here in the wild? We have people that are completely independent, guys with their own authority,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how do I stay compliant because they don't have the benefit of like Swift University.
Yeah.
And we'd like to help those guys out.
No,
The log certification thing is absolutely industry wide.
Yeah.
Over
I
at
know.
Panther, where I'm at right now, man, they are every day. There's a message about that. Did you improve your logs?
Yeah.
It's almost like your mom calling you. Hey,
Right.
son, did you improve your logs today? Because they're getting hit hard on it. That's mostly an East Coast operation, and
Yeah.
East Coast might as well just be California as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and I think I think you make a good point, Jeff. And I think everyone wants to be compliant, but yeah, when you're a single truck operator and one inspection can knock you off your
Right.
feet, it's that much more important. I will say this. So it's important that I think everyone understands, a couple years ago, and I can't remember exactly when, but the federal EROD system was created. And, if you go back a few years prior, when you had a roadside inspection, it was literally a more manual look at your logs for the prior 2 weeks. Well, now the logs are transferred electronically into a system called the EROD system that is looking at all potential violations. And look, that's not to say hopefully we're ever in a place where you wanted to skirt the system and hide
Right.
things. But hey, if you have things like you didn't certify your log from 6 days ago, it's going to be on there, and you're going to get hit with it. So it's not even just that day, right? They're
Right.
looking back. That's the way the EROD system looks, and it's looking at unidentified driving logs, and it's looking at potential personal conveyance misuse and some of those things. And so, I think the best way to do it, and I think you guys would agree with this. Again, you've done this as long as most in the industry. It's kind of taking it day by day. You've got to take care of things every day, the pre and the post trip inspection, certifying your logs, planning that trip, not planning the trip 3 weeks out, but planning that trip. I'm looking at the weather I'm going to come up to today. I'm looking at road construction. And when you simplify it, I don't want to say this job is simple. It's not.
Right.
It's complex. That you're sharing the road with millions of people. But when you simplify it like that, you set yourself up so much better than procrastinating and pushing these things off. So the number one piece of advice I would say is take it trip by trip, day by day. Don't overcomplicate it further than that. Take your time. The 15 extra minutes, 10 extra minutes to look at the weather, to look at the traffic that's coming up, to look at what exit I got to get off of. Nowadays, you can Google search the shipper you're going
Right.
into and get a
Mhm.
roadside view of what that looks like. Hey, those things, leveraging the technology in your favor there, that matters. I mean, I think you guys would agree with that. We've had some conversations around stuff like that. I've listened to your show and you give similar advice. I think that matters so much. But then the other thing I'd say is this is a job where you can never be in a hurry. You can't. There's appointment times, all that. That's great, but that can never matter than just handling what you need to handle right now. You cannot
Right.
be in a hurry. Can't be in a hurry when you're backing up. Can't be a hurry out there on the road. It's your health and everything else is way more important than any of those things. And so handle day by day and honestly slow down. I'm not just talking about the literal speed of the truck, but all of
Right.
it. You'll be better off. You'll be a lot more calm, I think, as a driver and more, prepared.
Yeah, one of the governing tenets of my company, Mortco Transportation LLC, is actually never be in a hurry, especially when you're in a hurry.
Yes, that's even more so important.
Right.
Exactly.
I see so many people that they show up that they're barely on time for a dock and they're in a hurry to get in that dock and they take the guy's mirror off next to him while they're backing in.
Right.
We're gonna
If they
end
would
this.
have just gotten out and looked, it wouldn't have happened.
I like this. I'm gonna end this on CW's 7 P's. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Amen, brother. David, I think you wrapped it up, summarized it all real well. Sorry to dump that one on you at the end, but I couldn't resist it. I'm a funny guy. What do you want? Ladies and gentlemen, David Tillman, the Senior VP, Safety and Driver Development, and 97 other things, because I like saying that for some reason. Dave, I appreciate you, brother.
No,
I'll see you
hey,
next week, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you. And Jeff, I'll probably miss you this year, but hey,
Oh no,
it
there
was
might
great.
be some news on that. Just saying.
Okay. All right.
Would
Well,
be
hey,
okay.
I'll be excited either way. But no, hey guys, I appreciate spending some time with you and having me on. And honestly, I'd like to follow up on those other ones, Charlie. So I know you'll send
Yep.
me a gentleman's information.
I will
look
get
into that.
CW's and you together. I promise. And Matt Nissen.
And Matt.
Thanks,
So,
Dave.
hey, I certainly appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Have a great
Thank
one,
you.
brother. Bye. So that was awesome. David Tillman. It's been a minute. I like that guy. Like for any of you who have not had the privilege, I'm even gonna say, because I'm in schmooze mode right at the moment. I'm not even schmoozing if I say honor. That dude is smart as all get out. And the amount of stuff that he has to deal with in his position of, sitting over the brands is insane. And he's like 12 years old.
Right.
I mean, that guy is so damn young. And when you talk to him, he is much older in his brain than he really is in reality. Like he's kind
Right. After talking to him on the phone several times when I finally met him in person, Charlie's pointing him out. I'm like, nah.
No way. That can't be the guy I was talking to, right? I know. I felt the same way the first time.
You think of a guy that's got like the gray hair like me and is much older than me. And
Right. Maybe a bit of a
So-
belly on him. I don't know.
So just real quick, because this is our show, Charlie, and I'm putting this up for proof for all to see. Donna says Jeff will be interested in past a line of 15-ish Raptor. She says assaults, but she's talking about the pickup on the way to pick up Pete. I'm taking that as permission to buy a Raptor.
That's what I just heard.
That's what I heard.
I mean, she's encouraging your Raptor fetish. Because why else would you point that out? Is what I'm
right.
with you, bro. I get it. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't even know. It's a thing, Don.
It's public record now.
locked
It's
in,
on
yeah.
YouTube. It's never going away.
Right. We're in fact, I think I'm gonna make a short of just that bit. You're welcome. Because I'm gonna get kicked in the gym. I'm sorry. I won't. I won't. Yes, I will. Wait, if she's not looking, yes, I will. If she's looking, no, I'm not doing it. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and get rid of my headset again. I had to put it on so I could actually hear David. I was having trouble with sound. So
Okay.
But so I don't want to end the safety thing just because David left, because I truly believe in this stuff. I honest to God truly believe in trying not to kill people,
Yes.
right? I, I don't want to ever be in an accident.
Well,
where I
and
get
let's talk
presented-
to the soulless bastages out there.
right,
Money, bro. How much does it cost you to get out of service?
right,
How much does it cost you? You know, you're looking at this tire, right? You're like, oh, that's looking a little wonky. And maybe you even went as far as to get your tread depth gauge out, which you should all have on your trucks. And it's at like 1/32, right? But you decide in your infinite wisdom that you're gonna roll down the road, and about halfway through your day, pop. Now you're on the side of the road for 2 hours waiting for loves. What'd that cost you?
2 hours. Boy, you optimistic.
Yeah.
My last tire waiting on Loves was like 8 or 10.
Well, I blew those 2 drives on my tractor a while
Right.
back, and it took 8 hours. And that's another safety thing too. So you guys know that I'm doing expedited freight, which means no, you're there because that's the contract. And even then, I was talking to Panther, and I'm like, I've been up for 8 hours waiting for this tire to be repaired. I need some sleep. It is not safe for me to drive down the road.
Right.
And you know what they said? Well, let me make a phone call. We found out that the place wasn't even going to be open. I was only actually 30 miles away, Charlie. I didn't feel safe to drive that 30 miles.
Right.
But when you're not safe, you're not safe, right?
Right.
So the consignee closed about an hour before the tire was done anyway, and wouldn't be opening until the next morning.
Right.
So it turned into, well, just get some sleep and just go in when you can.
And how many guys? I mean, look, I've done it. Oh, screw it. It's only 30 miles. I'll be good afterwards. And just to get there and be, you know what I mean? Or heaven forbid, I'm going to run those 30 miles and 5 miles down the road. You know?
Yeah.
Look, I quit driving nights. I've told this story to a lot of people individually. I don't know if I ever talked about it on the show, but I quit driving nights because I lost 100 miles one night.
Just lost time, huh?
Gone. 100 miles. Have no idea where they went. Somehow, straight road, Texas. Come on, right? I kept it between the lines. I honestly don't know what happened those 100 miles. When I figured that out, I was like, Jack, I was like, oh my God, right? For the rest of that shift, when that shift ended, that was the last time I drove overnights. I told Rosie, either we're doing super solo daylight hours. I'm good till about 3 a.m. If I start before that, maybe 2 a.m. And I'm good if I get up at 4 a.m. But if I'm running as part of my shift from that 2 to 4, 2 to 5, I can't do it anymore. I don't know why. It was never a problem before, but literally overnight, one night it happened, and I had to make a decision. I was like, I couldn't imagine finding out that I was responsible for anybody's death or injury. Like seriously, because I was too damn prideful, stubborn, stupid to say I can't do this. So it's really big to me.
So you're ready for my squirrel right now?
Yes.
Because my son just told me this. Expeditionary Force Task Force Hammer just came out today, and I am downloading it.
Nice.
So we have some people, Craig and some others that we kind of swap sci-fi books around.
Right. So Global Killer Trucking. I can't even talk. I know. Mike, back in the old days, we called those missing miles time travel, right? It was absolutely 2 hours. And here's the funny thing is it was probably 2 hours to do that 100 miles. So you know what I was doing? My foot was barely on the pedal, and I was driving slow as hell out in the middle of nowhere all by myself.
Oh, you were that guy.
I was that guy.
That guy that you're like,
guy.
That when you're behind that guy and you're like, should I pass him? Is it worth it? Is he going to hit me?
Right. Oh man, it truly freaked me out. And I made an absolute business decision right then and there. Luckily, Rosie's like, please let me drive nights. I love it. And it's crazy. Now, when the sun comes up, she's done. We're out, bro. We need to plan it so that it's time to go, because then she's like, right.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that scar on your neck again next time I see you. Maybe it's 2 puncture wounds.
Hey, stop it. Don't share my secrets. But yeah, it's crazy, man. But driver fatigue, vehicle inspections, logbook accuracy, safety equipment checks, right? I mean, these are all things, and we've talked about safety equipment checks over the last 2 weeks before this because of the two different shows we did there, talking about what to do in an emergency and winter preparedness. We hit that emergency equipment 2 weeks in a row, now 3 weeks in a row. You can tell that I truly do live in that world. I'm sorry,
It must have made your brain explode when David said that the number one violation was tires.
dude, you have no idea. I didn't know that.
I
It
wouldn't
makes
have guessed
sense.
it. I mean, tires, you see them. You get out of your truck. Oh, there's some tires.
Gosh, and I'm constantly wandering around. Look, I got one right now that's driving me a little nuts myself. So I'm just saying. But these things, I mean, so many of these things are so obvious, right? And I think that it comes back to like he and Jeff said, slow down, get out of that autopilot.
Yeah, I
Right?
like what he said about, just plan for the day, guys.
Right.
As business owners, especially, we tend to do projections in our mind. I don't know about you, Charlie, but I'm projecting in my mind days out while I'm driving, trying to
Oh,
figure out what I
absolutely.
need to do next. But in the mornings and as you're going through your day, just focus on that day. One of the things I learned a long time ago in this business is, and it's a little aside, but not really. Don't worry about your next load so much. Have the faith that the industry is going to feed you.
Right.
There's plenty of freight out there.
That's not to say don't work on it, but
right. But I see guys all the time that they're not thinking about the load they're on at all. They're already thinking about the next one, and that maybe even 2 or 3 out. And I don't think that that's valuable.
no,
Not
I mean, how
really.
many times have we seen that? They're like, "Oh, I gotta hurry up and work this thing out so that I can get rid of this one because the next one and the next one and the next one." You're like, "Bro, you need to make it to this point first." And
Mhm.
they're all over the damn road and whatever, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?" And I mean, I've been lucky enough to, from time to time, be able to walk up to some of these guys afterwards. I'm like, "Bro, you okay, man?" You pull up in a fuel line behind them. You're like, "You all right, man? I'm glad you're taking a break." And they're like, "Oh, I was working on my next 2 loads." I'm like, "So you almost hit me because of that?
Mhm.
You put me out in the rumble strip because of that?"
Yeah.
That's the moments that I have to walk away because I don't want to be a YouTube video for the wrong reason.
Right.
Dig? I'm just saying, because you almost killed me and my wife. More importantly to me, you almost hurt my wife.
Right.
Me's one thing. I'm actually pretty forgiving when it's just me. Like legit. Like I drive completely different when Rosie is in a vehicle with me, car or big truck. When it's just me in my car, hold on, baby. Let's do that. I'm just saying, watch it.
Yeah. And again, back to the money thing too. Any of these violations for you guys that aren't, especially for you guys that aren't leased to a big carrier. If you're leased to a big carrier, you can lose your contract if you have
Right.
too many violations. If you're out there on your own, insurance is already so doggone expensive. It will absolutely affect your insurance rates to have bad inspections. A lot of people don't know this, and Charlie, I actually didn't know this until probably the last couple of years when we started really looking at the broader business. A lot of brokers won't work with you unless you've had 3 inspections in the last 12 months.
Right.
Clean inspections. They just won't.
That makes sense, Craig. Craig said hook and book is why tires are number one. That absolutely makes sense. Matt, for the Swift guys specific, the tires, we can question them constantly, but on-road rejection, so many tread separation is the biggest issue he's seen. And I like Mike's follow-up here. I hate when I find a problem, but as a mentor, I see a positive that my student sees how important pre and post trips are. And that,
Absolutely.
sir, is why I like you as a mentor.
You know what I used to do, Charlie?
Hmm.
I would inspect the truck and then send my students out to do it. And they get back in, they say everything was fine, and I would say, Are you sure?
Right? Oh, I
And just
love
leave it hanging.
yes, and just not even say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go back into school mode where they're naming every bit. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
they're measuring tread, they're stabbing tires, they're doing much better visual inspections.
Yep.
You know, there was a couple times I tried this a couple times. I'm like, hey, there's a $20 bill out there. Find it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you find the 20, you get to keep it. You don't, whatever, right? A little monetary incentive.
Yeah, but I would usually put the tire on the fifth wheel. So I didn't really want it back because it was greasy.
Right.
I would really hope they found it.
You know, sit it right there in front of the jaws. I did that one twice. They're
Yeah.
like, bro, that wasn't right. But hey, it was funny. And I can tell you on both of those times, they had done the entire truck, swore they had done the entire truck, came back. They're like, I can't find it. I'm like, I promise you, there's $20 out there. And then after they did it again, and then they got underneath and actually inspected the jaws, because that was a big thing for me, the jaws, right? They're like,
Mhm.
oh man. I'm like, I can't even imagine that you didn't look there first. And that was just because of the way my brain works.
Mm-hmm.
Jim did that too. I used to sabotage something to see if they find it. Absolutely. Wrote notes with grease pencils on things.
Yep.
And then ask them, did you find that note? What'd it say? They're like, what? You didn't look very well because it was in a spot you should have been seeing.
Well, and David pointed out how long you and I have been doing this, and there's a real danger as you get deeper into the career of being a driver and an owner. You get complacent. I mean, I find myself doing it. It's an absolute thing, and that's where you have to really, from time to time, sit and think, am I really doing everything I'm supposed to be doing?
Right.
And I don't typically do, all of us have been around a while, especially if we own the trucks, we kind of know our trucks. So do I get up under there with a crawler every day? I do not. But every once in a while I do,
Right.
maybe a couple times a month, and do a real full, like I was a DOT officer,
Right.
getting up around that truck. And I don't necessarily do it because I think I'm going to find anything, but it's to remind myself, hey, dude, you need to be maintaining your truck.
Right.
Just a little reminder, something physical that I do to keep my mind on the job.
Well, I mean, that falls in with, what we used to talk about. We used to talk about a lot, not so much anymore. I don't know why, but doing our own little basic maintenance, greasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going through and greasing your truck every other week, or at least once a month yourself, right? Because, that action gets you under the truck. You physically have to get under the truck to see, right? And you start noticing things that change. Where on this item, you're like, whoa, I never noticed that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way with the pre-trip inspections. We get in a groove and we just we pencil whip it, back to coin that old phrase, right? And it does you no good. It absolutely does you zero good. Yeah, we all get in a rush. I get it, but that, again, when you're in a rush, that's the time you need to slow down, because that's the time you're most likely to make a serious, possibly even dangerous or deadly mistake. And why would you want to do that? I don't know about you guys. I believe that most of you don't want to do that. And I have faith in you guys. But that also plays into, you threw me off. Why you messed me up? Switch sides. There we go. Anyhow, and but it's the same, not just your pre-trips and your mechanical stuff, but we can play this right into your business. We get complacent. We get in a groove. We're not managing the business, and we're not paying attention to those things that we should be paying attention to daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, right? There's just so many different things, and there's so many directions we could go with that right there. I mean, but I'm gonna come back to safety, and I know I've been on the safety kick lately, but we are coming up into this winter period, right?
Yes.
And not that it's, I don't know, it's just seems more likely that smaller things create bigger problems when the roads are icy, when you got snow, you got that crappy weather out there that you just don't want to be in. I mean, look, it sucks when it's 115 in Phoenix. I get that, but I'll get out and do a great inspection. For me, when it's cold out, I tend to rush, right? And that's when I need to not rush.
I'll tell you what, I have a story about that. I once swapped my airlines out in the middle of a blizzard in Chicago.
Oof,
It sucked.
it did.
It was so cold that I would like get one on and go back in the truck and warm up. Go
Right,
get another one on, get in the truck and warm up. Do my
right.
pigtail, get in the truck and warm.
Dude, it's a thing, man. But you know what? I bet you were doing a little bit better after that for a while,
Yeah,
because you were, whatever caused that issue, you were like, oh no, I'm not gonna miss that one again.
right. Well,
You
the
know?
one and only inspection that I got out of service for, and this was years and years ago, was a little bitty air leak in my in the. I always get them mixed up to this day, but the red one, the one that's
Uh-huh.
under pressure. Um, and my student and I had just done a full like DOT brake check with the chalk blocks out and everything. Right? We did not find it during our pre-trip, but that Dunsmuir grade California inspector sure as heck found it, and in that bay you could hear it.
Yep.
That echo. Like, dang
Yep.
it. That was the only out of service I've ever gotten. And you know what I do to this day? I check up underneath that spring and look and see if there's any wear under there.
Rosie's very first inspection was an air leak. We had just had a brake can replaced, and guess what we didn't do after that? We didn't do a 7-point brake inspection.
Hmm.
The air takedown and all that.
Yep.
Had we done that the way we should have, we would have found that the shop had not tightened up the main air hose into the brake can.
Right.
Only found it when she applied pressure to the brake pedal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it literally took me. I was out of the truck with a wrench in my hand before he finished the inspection and was done with the repair. And he's like, I already got it, man. I'm sorry. Policy is, if I find that, I'm writing it. And I mean, I wasn't mad at the guy. I mean, it sucked.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like, cracked brake shoes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, man. I mean, dude was doing his job. And I mean, talk about the reminder, right? I mean, that put it right back. And this is the worst part. It was while Rosie was actually technically a student and I was still a mentor. So I really felt like a jackwagon that day.
So Mike Schiller pulled your ticket after that, didn't he?
I wish he should have. You know what I'm saying? But it was. I mean, and I felt so crappy about it because it was something that we could have found so simply, especially having just had that work done, right? And I can't even remember what shop it was. I don't know if it was a Swift shop or if it was a outside shop. I honestly don't remember. All I remember is that I screwed that up, and I failed her prior to that, and it was on me.
Is Jim Wall older than us?
He's about our age.
Because I've never driven a truck without auto adjusters.
Yeah, but he's been driving a long time though. He started young.
Oh.
Jim Wall's been driving like 92 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's 59. See, he's in our bracket, bro. At least for another year, Jim. Sorry. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, when they ask that those age ranges they ask you for, like when you sign up for Facebook and stuff, you're gonna have to click the next one here pretty soon.
Right.
Started
Jim,
in
in 87, I was still trying to touch Rosie.
I was a freshman in high school in 87.
Yeah. That was 2 years after I started dating Rosie in 85. Just saying. Yeah. CW, I still carry a 9/16. Exactly. I love it. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jim was talking about my only out of service was an out of just brake, carried a wrench and adjusted them every time after that. Glad they have auto adjust now. Sorry, I didn't see the whole comment. But yeah, I look, it's so easy nowadays, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really, and if that doesn't fix it, you got bigger problems, bro.
Right.
I did like when I started with FFE back in the day in 04-ish. Part of their orientation was class on brake adjustments.
Really?
Yeah. And we got a little certification card along with an electric pallet jack and a forklift card. It was cool.
Hmm.
You know, but so many companies nowadays are like, they don't want you climbing out of the cab if you don't have to. I mean, let's be real, you know.
Right.
How many customers are going to let you on their dock? Maybe half, if
Yeah.
that. You know, they don't want, everybody's worried about liability, and I get that too, whatever. But
Dude, that Amazon load that was all messed up when I was in the straight truck, that's the first time I've been on a customer dock in probably 12 years.
Right. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. I mean, I think these are skills that you should have, because there are absolute times that even with automatic slack adjusters, it might need a little loving, because you might be there 10 days trying to get that thing to adjust properly sometimes, which again is a problem, but nonetheless, it happens.
I always look bored, CW. I've had a really long week, Charlie, even though I've been home all week.
Right.
I had the wedding on Friday. My folks flew in last week, so I've been spending a lot of time with them. Normally, I have the ability to take like a full day and just sleep. Not this time.
Right. And he's in his lounger. So I mean,
I'm half asleep, you know.
Hey, look, full disclosure, Jeff and I have been extremely busy today. Like my kids
meeting
left
after meeting after meeting.
Yeah, and the kids left this morning. They were in our bed jumping on us at like 5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were heading down to Tampa to the airport. As my daughter and her man and the grandbabies are headed off to Oregon. They're going out to Astoria, and they're there now. But they had to catch a flight at 9 a.m. I'm like, good God, I had an alarm set for 6:30. I really didn't need 5. Just saying, but whatever. And then it's just been nonstop since. Today's my only day to get anything done, because I got a load tomorrow taking me up into Alabama, and then Alabama up into Joplin, Missouri, trying to make my way over to Phoenix. Today's the only day I have to do anything, and we had 3 or something meetings today, and just it's been crazy.
Oh, little weather alert for you, Charlie. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that. Hurricane coming into Texas and Louisiana.
That's why I got a load going up to Jomo, because be careful if you have loads down this southern stretch down here, guys, the southeast heading across through Texas. They're actually expecting a lot of loads to cancel today, tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah, my parents were supposed to fly home to Houston tomorrow, but the airline actually called them and said, "Hey, we'll change your ticket to Tuesday with no fee if you want to leave early, because they're anticipating closing the airport tomorrow in Houston." So
right. So yeah, I mean, you know, but that's how I ended up going to Joplin. They were trying to skirt around the top so I don't get delayed and lose whatever loads I can get. I still don't know what's going to happen after Joplin. I may deadhead from there. Who knows? I have a very set schedule that I need to be in Phoenix for, that I've committed to, and you know, one way or the other, it's a business decision that I've made, and I'm going to be there. So any of you that are going to be in Phoenix during the 16th to the 20th, stop in, come say hey. Just saying. I will be there for sure.
Both be there.
Okay. I will be there for sure. Jeff's now going to be there. Rosie's going to be there. We're going to be hanging out, talking to people. We'd love to run some numbers. Hey, I'm bringing some equipment. We could sit down, maybe record a podcast episode. Like I said earlier, for the people that were here in the chat really early, we were talking about, we have some podcast ideas where we want to do member spotlights.
Yep. And we found out that actually one of my personal favorite YouTubers is going to be down there. Mother Trucker is going to be at Driver Appreciation Week down there. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to meeting him. I know that there's been some controversy over, he just regurgitates the news. But I tell you what, man, I learned a lot from that guy. Yeah, I could go to Freight Waves and find out what he's talking about by myself, but I don't have the time, man. I could just like get an alert that he does a thing, and it's usually something that I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I need to look at that,
Right.
you know. So, and we don't know who else might be showing up. I'm just going to tease that we might have a special person available for a day or two.
A super smart person, possibly.
Yes.
You can't say it till it happens. So I'm just saying. Baton Rouge tomorrow, 34 cancel. My dispatcher is an idiot. I have 3 duty hours available. Recover 5 at midnight. Stuck in a hurricane. How nice. Look.
Oh, man, that sucks.
What I recommend, and you probably shouldn't listen to this, is go buy you a bottle of whiskey and get out there and sit on top of the trailer. Don't do any of that. I'm just saying, hurricane party. What? I'm just.
You
whatever.
might be you might be a short on YouTube if you do that.
Look. Listen, Linda. Louisiana is famous for the hurricane parties. If you can find one, I'm just saying, get you an Uber. You know, I'm just saying, you may wake up the next morning laying on a fire ant hill. Whatever. It's okay. It'll be a great story, and you come back and tell us, because I would enjoy that story.
Hey, the question will be, did you die?
Right.
And if the question is no, I want the story.
Exactly. So Blackbeard said he met him at Matt's and he was a cool dude. I'm actually looking forward to actually meeting the guy. Just because I've been wanting to try and talk to him for quite some time. Why not? You know what I mean? CW said it should just be rain in Baton Rouge. The tracks look like Corpus Christi up to Longview, Texas. So I'm digging it. Acceleration, unemployment compensation for life. Now that's a story to tell from a hurricane party in Louisiana. I'm just saying.
There you go.
How'd you end up there? That's what happened. Life on 19 wheels. I love hurricane weather. I don't like driving through it. Guess that is what I'll be doing. I like
the snowstorms we have here in Utah. Sitting on my couch watching it out the window. So,
right.
You know.
CW, part of that law, the 7 Ps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trucker Tim, congrats to you and Donna, Jeff, on becoming in-laws, unless you already were. Nope.
Yeah, some of you that are friends with me on Facebook probably saw the GoPro edit of the wedding party. It was pretty cool.
It pissed me off. It was upside down to start. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, it does funky things sometimes.
Right? I haven't even looked at any of my edits lately. I know there's guy. I just haven't logged into my GoPro account for a while, and yeah. I know there's got to be some edits they put in there, because they do these weird little mashups.
Yeah, for people that don't have a GoPro and don't know what we're talking about, when you upload all your video to the cloud, and they will take like your last week's worth of videos and make this montage out of them with cool music and all sorts of stuff. And so since mostly what we use it for is to record our videos for the courses and stuff, ours are usually really boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally one cut of me doing this and another cut of me doing this.
Right.
Another cut of me doing this.
Mine aren't horrible, because what I've been recording mostly on my GoPro lately is I'm trying to gather some what they call B-roll. So I've had my hyperlapse running mounted up in the windshield, and it's that really fast kind of moving through the world like that thing, like 8 hours of driving condensed down to 15 minutes of video, right? I don't know why I'm fascinated by that technology, but so I get a lot of the first cut that I got was driving. Oh, fascinating. Driving. Oh, look, still driving fast. Looks like we're going super fast. Oh, look, here's another one. We're still driving. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's neat that it cuts to different places. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, look,
yeah,
poof, 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 scenery changes, right? They're kind of neat. I don't know. We're getting in a weird spot. I apologize, people. But It's fun. I enjoyed that video. I was like, but I did it first. I was like, wait, is my phone upside down? And I totally flipped it. And of course, the video flipped with it, right? Because I'm
Right.
stupid. I only flipped it once. I will say that, but I did flip it once. I would have felt really bad if I flipped it a couple times. Wait, I had to tell on myself because I did flip it once and it was still upside down, and I put it back the way I had it, the right way.
Okay.
So I flipped it twice. Dang it. I'm out.
Shame on you, man.
What are we going to do, man? So, yeah, I know we missed some stuff while we were talking to Dave Tillman, guys. CW, do me a favor real quick if you could. Shoot me a message in PM, and I'll shoot you Dave's email. So definitely reach out to him about that. He's really good about that. Make your subject line something like, from Trucking Talks Live, you told me to reach out or something like that. So he sees it. Dude gets crazy amounts of email. It's insane. It could take him a couple days to get back to you sometimes. But if you do email him, shoot me a message. I'll text him and be like, hey, CW sent you email. Matt Nissen, you too. I actually think Matt Nissen knows how to get a hold of Dave. And if you don't, shame on you, sir. You should know better. That was just fun to say. Whatever. What else we got going on here?
I have a teenager glaring at her mother because her mother's asking for the phone.
How dare her?
Yeah, she's supposed to be doing homework. I don't have time. There's that work-life balance for you, Charlie. I just took time off the show to look and see what was going on at least.
It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Acceleration rules. How often do you guys change wiper blades?
Now she's glaring at me.
I changed mine out and retire the spares to the sidewalk. It's a good idea to keep the older ones just in case, right? I used to do that, and I haven't done it in a long time because I have no real reason for not doing that, and that makes so much more sense, honestly. I've been doing mine about every 50,000 miles lately. I'm just using the junk that is available through my carrier shop. They're super cheap. Back in the day when I was buying, really nice blades, I seemed to get slightly more life out of them. And they were like 13 times more in cost. So I was just like, screw it, I'm going to just start buying the crappy ones. It just made better business sense, honestly.
I tried to get those super scrubber ones, but they were a heck of expensive and just weren't worth it.
So they were great. I really liked having those when I was running that Cabela stuff and running, that I-80 corridor back and forth. They were great for that stuff to a point, but they definitely prolonged the amount of time between me having to stop and break ice off the windshield wipers and chipping off the windshield. I truly liked them when they first came out. I was a huge fan of them. But, I run mostly down here in the Southeast, and they probably would help with some of the bugs, especially the love bug season down here. Oh, my God. But, I just buy the cheap ones now, honest to God. And it's about every service is what I'm doing right now. And they seem to actually need to be replaced. So my right one, passenger side, more so than the driver's side. Passenger side one always wears out like it's garbage before I hit 50,000 miles. The driver's side one is actually still fairly pretty.
Here you go.
Look at you, smart guy. See, I'm, dang it, Jim. I just got brand new ones too again, just last week. Dang it. Where were you last week, sir?
And, I've thought about the heated blades because I live up north, but I just haven't done it yet. You got to do a little wiring for those.
I toyed with the thought myself. It's pretty simple wiring from what I saw. I mean, if you are minorly electrical, it's super easy.
I think it's a 12 volt, so you just got to get the wires somehow through the firewall.
Oh, you can tap outside the firewall even.
You got that fuse box on the outside though, don't you?
Yep.
You can tap into that.
Just make sure you don't tap the wrong stuff because you'll do wacky stuff. Just saying.
Yeah.
I tapped into this one block one time, and it looked like it was just a regular deal. I didn't actually look at where it was going into a fuse, and it was like I don't know, some crazy 80 amp fuse or something like that.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize it didn't look like it was that much heavier wire. And I'm one of those guys that, doesn't disconnect batteries and things like that.
Mhm.
And that thing scared the hell out of me when it started welding stuff. Got a little touchy on some stuff. Anyhow, yeah, it was special. Crappy Freightliner windshields, Craig said. Apparently it's the driver's side or the passenger side that's crappy. And you know what? I don't care. What do you think about that, Craig?
Yeah, there's a lot of like retro design on the Western Star. I got it in there. My Western Star. It's got the double pane windows that are flat. They're not curved at all, like an older truck. And it seems to not, because the wipers are completely flat. It doesn't seem to wear them out as fast.
So CW, that's actually brilliant right there. Tapping it right into the windshield motor.
Yeah, there you go.
Because when you turn it on, that's when you need it, right? I'm just saying. That makes good sense. Acceleration rules said, does your truck have rain sensing wipers? Sending wipers. Mine speed of supersonic and heavy rain. I turn them off to reset them irritating. So I'm actually mad because I had a windshield replaced a while back. 2 windshields ago now.
Yeah, that's right.
This year. And I actually liked the automatic wipers. I truly enjoyed it. They would get a little annoying sometimes because sometimes a random bug would hit something. And I don't know how they work. I honestly don't know how they work. But I would get like a bug splat and the damn windshield wipers would start going and just smear that thing all over the place. And I'm like, oh, man. And then it would run for like 10 minutes sometimes for no reason. But ever since they changed my first windshield, it stopped working, and I'm a little upset by that.
Something's not right.
Tried heated washer fluid one time. That was nice. I could see that, but I could also see that being a problem.
Yeah.
If you got any little chips or nicks or micro cracks,
settle in there.
Like a problem.
Settle in there, freeze and expand.
Or the temperature differential from a frozen windshield, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a true statement or not. I'm just saying that's what my brain went to. You guys have seen my brain working. It's not a pretty sight.
Not once.
Let me pull it up for you. Oh, I have one. I know I do. It's good. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll through things here. Oh, Jim said it helps with the bugs.
Okay. Little hot bath. Matt says you need to go have it calibrated, Charlie.
Look, so when I took it in this time, because I had to have another windshield done last week. Yeah, it was a thing. Guess what? Still doesn't work. And I told them about it.
CW says they didn't plug it back in.
It's probably true. Let's see. They left the wires off of it when they replaced the windshield, remove the cover, and plug it back in. Everything else works. You think it's just like one weird wire? Cool. I'll look. I'm willing to take things apart because it's fun. Hopefully I don't break it and it doesn't fall off every day after that. I'm just saying. That's usually my luck. It's a true story. I've been known to take things apart and maybe slightly not the right way. And then every day after that, it falls off because it won't stay on because I did something wrong. And then I have to get super glue and Gorilla tape, paper clips, baling wire. It's a thing. Sorry, reading chat. I apologize, folks. I know it's not great airtime. Hydrogen peroxide dissolves bugs instantly. You can add it to your wiper fluid. Did not know that. I I will definitely try that out down here. I'm just saying, because that's good Lord, man. Like I was fairly certain that the windshield we just replaced was permanently stained by bugs because it was just so bad. Like we got out there scrubbed and couldn't get rid of that crap still. Like they were etched into the windshield glass. It's crazy. See, said my caddy has that. Oh, you got a caddy. You're fancy. Whatever. You and Jeff and your caddy and Western Star is all I'm saying. I have to unplug it. No, no mess with it. Huh. Oh, Matt said getting that cover off is a witch. Good catch. Save words. Not important. TK, what's going on, man? You're always late. Whatever. I'm just kidding. I love you, brother. You gonna be in Phoenix next week, or are you not gonna make it? Let me know. Jeff's gonna be there now too. Just saying. We'll do a 3-way hug. Does that sound weird?
No more weird than me showing up at all.
You know, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm glad you're going. I'm glad we got that worked out.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to see the look on Brett's face when I walk into the division office.
He's like, the hell? Thought you left. Anyhow.
Well, we've been told by friends of ours at Swift that because it's a thing, right? Because I don't work there with them anymore,
right?
And what I was told is you're more than welcome, although it might be weird for you not being a Swiftie anymore. Just expect that they're going to try and sell you a truck.
You know what that means? They're not going to feed you.
Filibertos, man.
I know, right? I'm just saying. But you know, look, there was a thing like, I mean, they were, look, everybody knows the industry's been crap for the last 2 years, and each year's been a little bit less. Like last year was, you know, they said like some of the B1 drivers, the Mexican fleet folks, did not get driver prize or gift bags because their carrier Transmex didn't want to contribute to that fund to make that happen. It was just a whole weird thing. But you know, I mean, look, I get it, man. Cost savings, you got to do some things.
Jake Brick will be open,
right? You can mix hydrogen peroxide in a bottle and spray it at your fuel stop. They'll dissolve and fall. Bro, you are just breaking my brain tonight.
How did we get such smart people on the show?
I'm seriously like, this is I need to go get some because Southeast bugs. Love bugs.
Question is so does it like do the foamy thing like when you put it on a cut? Because that'd be kind of cool.
Huh.
That'd
be fun. Hey, look, he's parked next to a Panther truck. Nice Pete 579.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, most of the Panther people are getting their trucks from ES Success and Trucking, by the way. Mention that real quick. And they actually have some really impressive discounts that they get.
Bless you.
Because you know they're not a carrier at all. They don't none of that. They're just a service provider, kind of like a club, I guess you could call it. And so they get just as good at discounts as a Swift does.
Almost like a co-op,
so many people. Yeah, almost like a co-op. But because they order so many trucks a year, they get really good discounts on those trucks. So yeah.
All right, let's see. Hey, by the way, if you guys got anything you want us to hit on, please, by all means, put it up in the chat and we'll try and touch on it. If not, I'm actually going to probably try and wrap this a little early, Jeff, if you're all right with that, man, because I still got to go pack some stuff, man. It's not okay. It's good Lord. Not enough hours in this day for sure. And I've been fighting a migraine the whole day too. And I haven't, oh my God, I'm not even going there. It's been a thing. It's been a day. How am I not getting feedback? Are you hearing an echo, CW? I'm just curious. I actually used to, when I didn't wear a headset, it would be terrible. Apparently I changed something in my settings properly, so that now that it's working, I don't know what I did.
Well, if you notice, like on the Zoom calls that we do, I don't have a headset on. Josh doesn't have a headset on, and we're not reverbing.
Yeah, well, you do, but
No, I don't.
sometimes.
I haven't heard it.
Sometimes.
My wife thinks I snore too, and I've never heard that either.
Exactly. Oh, TK said, talk about what I texted you about. You were talking about getting a possibly a line on a truck and needing insurance. And we got a guy that you could talk to. But I can tell you right now, if you're going to be running your own authority, TK, think twice right now. Spendy, bro. If you're going to lease it onto a carrier and you just need like the FISDAM and then NTI, non-trucking liability or bobtail insurance, as some call it, OCAC and all that stuff, our dude definitely has you covered, bro. And get you a pretty decent rate through our package.
Yep.
We do have two packages. There's one for the Swift guys and there's one for the rest of the world. The reason there's two different packages is that Swift package was specifically designed for the Swift contractors on the DOT number and their run losses, and that may not actually mean anything to you, but whatever. So there's two different things, and then later on we built this package to expand upon it to offer it to everybody that we like, all of you guys.
Yep. Anyone use?
Go ahead.
No, go. You got okay. Anyone use the ES Tire program? So if you're at Swift, right, just use their national account, man. If you're outside of Swift, you can save a little bit of money, but it's only like $100 a tire. It's not a great discount, in my opinion. Charlie, who are we talking to that just got a killer deal on tires just out in the wild, and they said, "Hey, Swift DOT number, use that national account," and they got a killer deal on tires.
Right.
Even better than they could have gotten them at the Swift shop. So I don't think most of the people here would. I would not advise most of our people, because most of them are Swift people, to use their tire program. That's not one. I don't see.
And they know we say that.
I don't think it's going to have the benefit that you get from the mega carrier backing you up on that one.
No, and if you are a Swift contractor, which Jim is, definitely hit up a Love's or a TA or a Petro or something like that. Use the National Tire account, and I'm telling you, it's a better price. Every very rare blue moon, a Swift terminal will have a better price than you get off the National Tire account, because they got them at a cheaper price than the current National Tire account price. But understand that what they did is they bought them on the National Tire account and then added 20% to them. If they happen to fall into that, they probably bought them a while back, and it's a weird deal. And yeah, so TK is going to lease on to somebody. Yeah, our dude Tony, TK, will definitely be able to hook you up.
So you wanted to answer CW?
Yeah, it's a setting in my computer, man, that's actually working properly, that cancels out playing what it is that it hears, and the microphone's just picking up what I'm saying. It's good microphone too.
So Blackbeard, what year is your truck and what engine is it? I'm interested. It says it's got blow by and high crank pressure. Hopefully it'll hold to next year. He's looking at an M-frame.
Right. CW asked if he had changed the crankcase filter lately. He said he did that, no change. So, and Life on 18 Wheels told TK to come to Landstar. There you go, man. We got people all over the place now, TK, that we might be able to talk to you about, and different carriers and things.
Yeah, and Life on 18 Wheels, you've been there long enough now to where we need to hear from you a little bit. How's that going?
Right.
We're glad we have someone we know for sure and can trust over there. So we'd like to see what your numbers are looking like over there, because that's the thing. Here's what my vision has always been for what we do, Charlie. This kind of company to carrier type progression in a career. And I think there's a place for a Landstar or a Mercer where you're just one step away from being a guy with your own authority in those operations.
Right.
Right. It's definitely everything but having to pay the insurance. for your own authority over there. So
And he just hit 700,000.
oh, that's terrible. Did I say that? Sorry.
That's okay. It's true. That's a bummer.
That's a bummer on that engine. I mean, 2018 X15, you should be going a million miles before you even have any problem. I mean, according to Bruce, they were anticipating just driving these trucks for 2 million miles and then throwing them away.
Right.
So that's, huh,
Although 18, okay, so 18 was one of those weird years, though.
was it?
Yeah. 18 was one of those weird years where they did some wonkiness on them. And then there was the coin toss on whether you got a good one or a bad one, too. I mean, within 100,000 miles, there was some that they were rebuilding. So
Oh, okay.
it was crazy. I do have your number, Life on 18 Wheels, and we should definitely reach out to you, man. It's just been, dude, these last few months, honestly, I was going to say weeks, and the last few months have been super busy for us. And I mean, there's so much stuff. I got to get a hold of my dude, Gabe Roush. He texted me last week and I still haven't got back to him yet. I actually want to reach out to him and get him on the show to talk about the insurance stuff. You know, he got hurt a while back. You guys have heard us talk about the story, things like that, and kind of share his experience because he's still not trucking to this day.
Right.
And I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but he may never be able to truck. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's bad stuff, man, and it sucks. And he was one of those guys, you know, we all hear those guys, God, I wish I could get hurt and get paid.
Yeah, he
Right?
wishes he could work.
God, he wishes he could try. He liked it. He really liked it. I mean, at least from everything that I remember. Yeah, it's crazy. No, and TK, that he doesn't think he can afford his own authority at this point, bro. It's really bad right now. The insurance is the problem, honestly.
Yeah.
Insurance on a first and second year authority even are just crazy.
Yep.
But I mean, if you're planning for it, I mean, you could probably. So here's my opinion alone. I'm not recommending anybody do this. Don't take it this way. If I were going to get my authority, my brain says now over the next few months with the market doing what it's doing, might actually be the time to do it so that you are set up and ready
for the true rebound.
Peak, right? Don't wait for the peak and buy it then. That's too late. You might get a couple months of that peak and then we're going back into the plummeting again, right? Because that's cyclical. It happens every time. But you really need to be cash solid if you're going to do the authority thing. You really got to have all your finances in place, and you absolutely must be cash good right now.
You know, we talk about, Charlie, that all of us, which very few do, I mean, hypocrite, right? You should have $20,000-$30,000 in the bank as a business owner. Now, we understand it's tough, especially in this market. But if you're going to make the leap to having your own authority, I think that's one of those deal killers if you don't. Would you agree with that, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've got like you know, at Swift you've got Papa Swift. Panther is not as good at helping a guy out, but I do have a backing from ES. I have something. But
Right.
when you're out there completely on your own, it's just you, the road, and the tow truck driver that's going to try and rip you off.
Right.
So you got to have that cash available. You know, but you know, think about it. I can't remember how old TK is. He I always picture him as a young man, so I don't know.
Oh, see, I see him as 87.
Okay, but you know, this is where you'll see Charlie and I debate this here in a little while. I think the business decisions that you make are different when you're older. You know, if you're a guy in your 30s, say, and you want to take a risk like that, you have plenty of time if it goes south on you to recover. Charlie and I are getting to the point, especially with our health. You heard us
Right?
talk about our health. For us to take a risk like that, it's like, well, I don't know if I can get a DOT card next year.
It's
It's
real.
a thing. So you have to look at the whole picture of what your vision is. You want to get your cash. You want to be flush with cash, and then go for it, man. And just think of it as, how much time do I have to make this work? The more time you have, the easier I think it is to make that leap.
Right.
And it's crazy to say now, Charlie, because when I was 30 years old, I was all about, no, man, I had this solid job at the phone company. Why would I leave that? And I'm comfortable. I don't know. Why would I risk that? That's
Right.
when I should have risked everything, was when I was 30 years old, because I would have been able to bounce back
Right.
in my 40s. So there's a lot of stuff to think about when you're doing this planning for the future stuff.
Hey, James, good to see you. Sorry that he said he's sorry he's late, but he's remodeling after a fire here at his house. That sucks. I'm sorry, bro. That's terrible. I hope everyone's okay. I hope it's just stuff, man.
Yeah.
Remember, stuff is easy to replace. Jim Wall, silver or gold, not cash. Legit. I bought a bunch of silver back in the 90s. Mid 90s to early 2000. A bunch. I couldn't roll the gold thing, but I bought a bunch of silver. So I mean, it's what it is, and I will keep it until the day I need it. You dig? See, okay, acceleration rules. Now you're getting into my world over here. All right, check this out. You can carry more cash than silver. You'll need a truck to carry 100,000 in silver. It's heavy. Here's the problem. So in one of those situations, let's say an EMP happens. Is cash going to be king, or will silver and gold? Or how about pigs? How about chickens? How about vegetables? I bet you that those actually carry more weight than any cash does now. I'm just saying. It's a thing. James said his wife and dogs are good. Good, man. I'm glad to hear it, brother. Look, fire.
So he had to drop $20,000 on his house after this.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Ouch.
And you know what? Maybe your truck doesn't work after an EMP. I'm just saying. In fact, most of these modern trucks won't.
I still want to get an old International Scout and just park it in my barn.
Right? Old Bronco or something, old Suburban.
Yep.
Get it running so it's solid now while you can, and find parts on it, and then stockpile a bunch of extra parts. I'm just saying.
Oh, since we're talking about family tragedy, so my son number 2 was going home the other day and hit a cow on the road with his car.
That sucks.
We told him, hey, man, because he's one of those people, man. I think he would just live longer if he just walked places. He's one of those people.
Probably.
He's looking at buying a GT that he found. And what's funny is that the insurance on that car would be less than his little Honda that he just totaled.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, it's because of the age of it, right?
Probably.
No, it happens. Oh, Paul Harrell died of cancer. So yeah, and that's, you know what? I can totally see. I need to go find that video. He made a video saying, "Hey, I died," and it's got 4 million hits in a day. He had it set so that upon his departure, it would get put out, and I think that's awesome.
Huh.
I need
who else died yesterday?
Darth Vader himself,
James Earl Jones.
Mufasa.
Yeah.
Yes, I have kids. What? And I was a kid. Just saying. Yeah, that sucks, man. I didn't know that he had a stuttering problem.
Yeah.
As a kid, and went 8 or 9 years where he spoke to nearly no one except his family.
Mm-hmm.
Was damn near, mute for that whole time because of his stuttering was so bad. And then there was an interesting quote I heard, and I'm gonna butcher the quote, but it was something along the lines of nothing more tragic than having something to say and lacking the ability to say it.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, right? I had no
Yeah.
idea. I learned more about that guy today than, gosh, in a bunch of years, and that's sad.
James, the cow just like walked away, but it totaled the car.
That's crazy. Oh, you said he was in a Honda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I was like, bro, I'm walking here.
Basically, yeah. Well, the thing is, me, since we know more about insurance and stuff nowadays, it got in my mind, hey, is it open range? Because if it's not open range, guess what?
That's right.
But it was. So
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look that up. Acceleration, man. I've not been paying attention to that side of my world for the last couple weeks because I'm a terrible person. I've just been awfully stupid busy. Speaking of, Jeff, you cool with this wrapping this thing? Because I think I got it down. Otherwise, I'm gonna go torture myself in my brain.
Okay.
I'd love to see a cowcatcher on a Honda. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, that'd be great. Anyhow, with that being said, Jeff, what do you got?
Let's keep that rubber side down. Be safe.
You guys take care of yourselves. No one's out here looking after us but us. You know what? I know I've been harping on the safety thing, but seriously, get it. I want everyone to get it back in the front of their mind. Winter's coming and it's coming fast. And I don't want to hear that one of you guys or anybody for that matter, got in a rush, did something, and you're no longer here.
Yep.
That sucks. I don't want any of those calls. So take care of yourselves, guys. We will see you next week. I will be live. We will be live. I haven't adjusted to you being there yet. We'll be live at Dry Appreciation Week next week. The show will be live from Phoenix. And we'll see you guys then. 6 p.m. Tuesday evening Eastern time. We'll see you guys. Be safe. Hit buttons. I got to click